those of you who don't know me, I own a company called Executive Careers Group. And what I do is, I've done this for 20 years. I help people in transition of careers, education, and moving up, moving out, and getting better business. And it's all about you today. So we're going to talk about, I'm a big organizational freak, so I do have a PowerPoint presentation that I want to go through with you. But first of all, I just want to find out from you, are you all business owners here? Raise your hand if you're not a business owner. Oh, great. We're all business owners. That's great. And how many of you are affected by the COVID right now with your profitability? Okay. So some of you are some of you still thriving with the COVID? I know that my business is doing well. Great. Great. So what we're going to talk about today is, you guys all know about branding. So what we're going to try to do is talk more about you and your brand, which people seem to skip over. So I talked to your group maybe about a year and a half ago, and I got a lot of people wanting to talk more about it. So this is kind of like what I talked about to the main group, but we're going to add in a little bit about COVID. Okay. So we're going to get started. I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to get right into, let's see if this works. I think it's going to dump you in the middle of this presentation. Okay. Do you see the first slide there? Personal branding and confidence? Okay. I think I'm sharing the right one. Okay. So the first slide, again, this is my business. So can you see, what do you see now? I'm having trouble, which I never do with LinkedIn or with Zoom. What do you see on your slide?
Are you in presentation mode?
I think I am. Oh yeah, you mean in LinkedIn? I mean LinkedIn PowerPoint?
Yeah, because we see your screen, but it's as if you were creating your PowerPoint. It's not the actual presentation.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Hang on one second. It does. It opens up.
Top. There's a button at the very top towards your left. I don't know where your screen is, but.
Oh, I've shared these all the time. What it does is I have 3 screens, so sometimes it gets messy because I'm such a freak. But let me get that started. And basically what we're talking about today is your presentation and who you are makes a huge difference in how you brand. So I love that you're having a brand expert next week, because she also can look at another end of courage. So I talk about more about your fabulousness and your presence in the area of personal branding. So today what we want to really focus on is how you present you face to face. And what's interesting is, you know, we don't know when we're going to be able to network again, but we're going to talk like we are, because you're going to have a lot more of these Zoom calls where people are going to ask to talk about yourself, and you need to know what to say and to be very clear, but also very excited. And the camera can create a lot of apprehension for a lot of people. We have to make sure our background's great. We're going to talk about all that. Okay. So we're going to go into how you promote you, how you promote your business, how you promote your job search if you're looking, which we're not going to even talk about that today, because I don't know if anybody's still, a lot of business owners are still looking for work full time, so we can touch on that. And any other goals that you have for your personal brand. So we're not talking about your logo or any of that. We're talking about you and presenting yourself. So getting right into it, what we want to talk about, and it's, you know, really, and when you're describing yourself and what you're doing, you want to show passion for what you do. So I have a passion for people who are in big trouble, and really, I walk into a room, I help companies plan terminations and layoffs. So if I'm going to fire Emily here, I'm going to call Yolanda and say, Yolanda's going to call me and say, Susan, we need to let Emily go. And I'm going to say things like, have you talked to your attorney, write up the severance agreement? But Yolanda cares about Emily, so she wants to make sure that she provides services for her. And services is me. So Yolanda says, and I write Yolanda's script, because Yolanda always thinks she knows what she's going to say when she terminates somebody, laid off or let go. No, you listen to me, because I'm right on that. Just that's why you pay me. And then after Yolanda separates Emily, Yolanda says, I have Susan Brophy here from eCareers, and she's going to help you. So Yolanda leaves the room, and sometimes I literally have to pick up Emily. Sometimes I have to collect her. I have to sit her down. I have to calm her down and let her know things are going to be okay, which they are going to be okay. So that's what I do on a daily basis. And with that becomes personal branding, resume, LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn expert. We talk a lot about LinkedIn and how you're presenting yourself on LinkedIn, just as important as your website, which people look at your LinkedIn 100 times more than they look at your website. Your website is a business card, so it really doesn't need to be that intricate. LinkedIn is where you do presentations about who you are, 30 seconds. You know, you can also post it on YouTube. But we're all talking about how you present you and what you do for a living. So what we talk about mainly is when we're meeting people in these situations, how we present ourselves, okay? I'm not the prettiest girl in the world, and the last thing I want to do is be on a camera. But what I want people to know is I'm an expert at what I do, and I'm very confident of that. And it's really hard to show that if you've had a bad day, or if you're going through a hard time, or if your business is suffering, or if you really don't know how to describe yourself. And that's where people get mixed up. My analogy, and some of you have heard this before, is when you're trying to network and get new business or find a job, when you meet somebody that you're excited about to tell them who you are, you have to know how to do it. You have to know kind of the angle. So if I walk up to Olga at a networking, or I'm in here and I want to talk to Olga. So we go in a breakout session. If you haven't done that, you will be in LinkedIn and Zoom meetings. And so Olga and I go into a room, and Olga's, I want Olga to buy my business, to buy what I do. So if I meet Olga, I compare it to being on a first date or a first interview. The only time you're vulnerable is when you're looking for work or business. It really is, to me, in my analogy, finding love. So if I meet Yolanda and I'm overbearing to Olga, then she's not going to like it. So if I go up to Olga, say Olga and I'm romantically interested in her, and I walk up to Olga and she says, Susan, how are you? And I say, hi, I'm Susan Brophy. I want to get married in 2 years and have 3 kids. And then I want to get a vacation house so we can go there. And then I thought that the both of us could take this course together on baby raising. And then I thought, well, let's go to Hawaii. Olga's going to be like, whoa, I just think you're cute. I don't need to, can you imagine, for me, it's a man. He'd be like, whoa, I just think you're cute. I don't want to marry you. Get it? So a lot of people are doing this 30-second elevator speech when they meet someone. I got a secret for you. I hate it. I hate it. 30 seconds is a long time to talk about yourself, right? So what we need, when I'm sitting in the room with Olga, I need to know how to present myself and my business so I don't seem desperate, right? Because if you're like, I want to get married, have 5 kids, and then we're going to have a vacation house and blah, 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 it looks like I'm desperate. I want this person to date me and marry me, and that's too much. Right now, I just want Olga to be interested in what I have to say and what I do. I need nods. Everybody, does anybody understand? Everybody with me? Can I see some hands? It's so hard when you're, great. So we need to continue the conversation for me to get business, for me to get further, but without me shoving it down her throat. So the only thing I heard BNI this morning. BNI is awesome because BNI, you say who you are, what customer you're looking for, what kind of person can you be referred to, and give referrals. Right now with Olga, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to tell her who I am on a personal level. Okay, so I'm from New York, and when you're from New York, you put your degrees, everything is like flashed across your chest. And when I moved to the Midwest about 12 years ago, I didn't understand that. I was so ready to be like, look at me, I've got this credential, this credential, this credential, and you better pick me. Where now it's all about the conversation, okay? So moving forward, when we look at the conversation, I'm just looking at my notes here, we want to be confident. So when you're in a room, and I'm going to try to share this slide, and I don't care if you see it in the presentation mode. But, oh, I've got landscapers if you hear them outside, sorry. So I don't know if you can you see this nice, cute lady with the, hello, my name is? Yes, great. So if we're looking at this and we're going to do introductions and networks, it's important to know who you are and what you do, your brand. So when we get into it, we develop the rapport. So when I'm walking up to Olga in a room or during a Zoom call, I'm saying to her, how are you? I'm asking about her first. Okay, so if I'm in a networking situation and I walk up to Olga, whether it's online or in person, when I go up to Olga, the first thing I'm going to say to her is, how are you doing today? Right? And then she says, good. And I'll say, what brings you here today? And she says, I'm here because I'm the president of blah, blah, blah. And you already know that. And you say, that's wonderful. And how, how's your business going? And then hopefully she's going to ask you, right? How are you doing? How is it going? What do you do? But if you start to answer that before she's even finished, you've already lost her business. You've already lost her in your business. So when you're walking into these rooms, you have to have what I call a marketing phrase.
I have good dishes.
Oh, make sure you guys are muted when you're on the call, unless you want to say something. It's just easier to mute. So what you want to do then is, when you're walking in and you're introducing yourself, instead of doing the 30-second commercial, you want to do what's called your quick phrase or your marketing phrase. So how I do your marketing phrase is, if you walk up to somebody and you're trying to describe what you do, you want to use 3 to 4 words on what you do. That's really hard, 3 to 4 words. So I'm going to pick on Mari. Mari, what 3 words can you describe what you like to do, Mari? And unmute yourself.
What I like to do or what I do?
I don't know. Just give me the 3 or 4 words.
You said what I like to do.
Well, hopefully your business is what you like to do. So let's just pretend. Okay.
3 or 4 words?
Yep.
Oh gosh. Well,
Words, not phrases, just words.
Divorce.
Oh, attorney?
Yes. Custody.
Ooh, okay, that's a little sad, right? So
Right.
right. So when I walk to stuff, nobody knows what I do for a living ever. I always have to describe it. So I do outplacement transition, career counseling, LinkedIn expert. So that hopefully tells you in 3 words what I do. And if they want to know more about what you do, what are they going to do? Anyone?
Ask a question.
They're going to ask you more. So don't shove it. So when I hear divorce, when you walk up to me, you're not going to say the words divorce. You're going to say, I'm an attorney. I'm involved in divorce, custody. Now, what you want to do, that's where you and I can have a sidebar. But when you're networking yourself, and we're going to get into that, that's how you're going to find out more about where you want to go and who you want to be. Okay? So that's what you're writing down today, ladies. You're writing 3 or 4 identifying words. And not to be crazy, but those are the same 3 or 4 words that you're going to use for your title underneath your LinkedIn profile. Okay? Makes sense. Because a lot of people have, I can help you save $50 in 2 months, but I still don't know what it is that you do. Right? So it's very important that your LinkedIn really shows what it is that you do. And so when I write, I've probably written 500 profiles for people on LinkedIn. That's another thing that I absolutely love. So I'm going to share this. So when you look at mine, okay, I'm a little wordy up here. I get it, right? But I'm not saying more. It's like I am a caveman, right? Career advancement coaching, LinkedIn optimization, transition and outplacement. But right here is where we're also describing ourselves. Nothing is the title of my job. Because if you're a good business owner and you're a good networker, you're always looking for work. You're always looking for a new job, and you're always looking for more business. So if you look up here, this shows my business, right? But I don't need to have my title, because if you click on that, it's going to go to what I do there. So we want to be simplified, okay? I ever asked somebody about, they said they had stomach surgery, like, how are you? And they say, I had stomach surgery. That's all you want to know. You don't want to know more, well, unless you're really into the surgery thing. But we want to be simple, light, enthusiastic, excited, but it's really what your expertise is at. So who else would like to give me 3 to 4 words? Anybody? Come on.
I just jotted down, Susan, I jotted down massage, geriatric specialist, and health coach.
Great. Great. Now, you want to think about the order of those, right? So I think that unfortunately in today's world, the word coach is so overused.
I agree.
It is so I use counselor because I have a master's in it, but like it's so overused. And so and you don't want to say certified coach because then you just sound like a snob, right? I'm certified. So I like the way you listed those, Liz. What were the three again?
Massage, geriatric specialist, and health coach. But I go back and forth from health and nutrition. I don't know. Did you go health and
you ever
nutrition
use the word
advisor?
I love advisor. I was just going to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. Do you ever use the word advisor or expert?
No, but just when I thought about it, I did.
So expert's a great word. I'm an expert at what I do. And whether I'm told that I'm an expert, but if I have expertise, I'm going to say that. So instead of saying, I help people terminate people, I help you transition to the next job, I can do your resume, I can do your LinkedIn, I have three simple phrases. So if you email me those three simple phrases, I can help you with those. I can email you back and give you better ideas, or, you know, it's a nice way for me to be interactive with you outside of this call, okay? But you want to make a memorable impression. So again, I'm back with Olga. We're either at a bar, networking, or we're in Zoom. And when I'm walking up to Olga, it's already about her. And then hopefully Olga's going to say to me, what do you do? And instead of saying this because I'm so complicated in what I do, I'm just going to say my three simple words or phrases. And if she wants to know more about them, hopefully she does. If she doesn't, and she sees, you know, Heidi across the room and says, Heidi's a BFF, you've lost your moment, and that's okay. She's going to go to Heidi no matter what. She's going to be like, oh, you know, here's the time. And well, nobody wears watches anymore, but, you know, and so you want to get directly there. So if you're at a group and they don't want to talk to you, it's okay. We're all over 25 now. It doesn't matter as much, but you're going to find people who want to be engaged with you, right? So there's a difference between a networking. So if you're doing a power networking event, which I have helped with those are different. These are just when you're trying to network with people. Okay, so I want to move on because I want to get to the important stuff. So I'm going to show you, again, I'm having trouble with this stupid PowerPoint, but that's okay. So when we're talking about expanding your phrase, so we have our phrase, which is quick, simple, direct, and humble, except for if you have expertise or expert, but you're not going to say, I'm world renowned in the blah, 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 but expanding your phrase. So how do you introduce yourself? What's your professional past, right? So Susan, what do you mean you're a career counselor? Well, I can say I have a master's degree. I worked at, universities, and I worked for corporations. And then that also, I'm only saying a few words for them to expand, right? Your passion, it's very important you make your passion, right? So for Mari, it sounds like your passion is changing in the attorney world, or whether you're going to be moving on from law, or whether you're going to be doing something else, but that's where you can stick in your passion, right? Especially with the room full of people and you're doing bar meetings all the time, I'm sure. And then your purpose, what's your purpose? Why do you do what you do, right? Our fearless president, Liz, we know that she's passionate because we know her as a person, but if she can say she does geriatric massage and health advising, then she can say, because I want to do this. I want to make the elderly more independent, or what have you. And then we want to elicit, elicit a response. So again, to review that, we're going to do a little bit of who we are, what you do, a bit of history, and what you have to offer. So for me, most of my business comes from referrals. Nobody wants to see me at a BMI, because I do a servicey more, and I work with a higher level. It's just very interesting what works for me and what doesn't. But you know what groups you should be going to. And then you want to practice until it sounds very natural, effortless. I am from New York and the youngest of four. I do not speak slowly. I work on it day to day. Eye contact is another thing I don't enjoy. And by the way, in these situations, you are looking at the camera when you're talking, which looks goofy to you, but people want to see you looking at them. And let your personality shine through. We have a couple fashionistas in our group, right? So I always like to see what they're going to wear, but it is who you are, right? So what I want to now show you is when we do have our 3 words and we're a little more confident about what we do, we want to make sure we know in what arenas and how to speak. So those are called networking meetings, and there are several different kinds. This is important to know how these work. So in simple phrase, if I meet Sandy, hi Sandy, and you and I meet and you find out that I am a LinkedIn expert and I'm looking for people who need to make their LinkedIn profiles better. And Sandy's like, oh my God, I have the best person. You have to meet Laura Spencer. She is like, she does what you do, but on a grander scale. And I think the 2 of you can get to know each other. So you and I, Sandy, we just had what's called a contact networking meeting, okay? We made contact. And then you're going to refer me over to Laura, okay? And Laura is going to be what's called a business or employment meeting, depending on what you're looking for. So there's different vernacular and action for these 2 different types of meetings. So raise a hand if you're with me. If I'm going too fast, if it's over, raise your hand if you're with me. Perfect. Okay, so there's 2 different kinds. There's the contact and then the money shot, the money. So first we're going to go over, and I'm going to share my screen again. And I'm going to send this PowerPoint to you. Is we're going to talk about the 2. There's contact network meetings. And can you see my little arrow? My little mouse? Oh, great. I can't believe you can see in the sun there, Rochelle. That's great. And business job seeking networking meetings. So we're going to move forward. We're going to talk about, oopsie. We're going to talk about the casual contact networking meetings. So these are, you're meeting with people that you know, you're getting together with them because you get together on a weekly basis, and that's going to hopefully initiate your business and employment networking meetings. So they're usually casual. I miss, coffee shops are my office. I miss that very much. But now it's going to be Zoom, so it's casual. Everybody's casual. They're having fun. They're nice. Sometimes they're a little dressed up, depending on they're coming from work. And so really you get together with people that you know to find out who they know to find employment or business leads. Get it? Yes? Nod your heady heads. Okay. So you use these meetings to gather information about people, companies, and information to use to create networking meetings to find employment or business. When it says employment, it's interchangeable. It's the same thing. You are looking for reliable income, which is either employment or growing your business. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is, we just talked about before how we made a meeting, and I'm going to meet with, I can't remember who I decided to meet with on a one-on-one. So I met with, I think it was, it was Sandy. Sandy and I are friends. We got together and she said, I need to get to know, I can't remember who I picked. Let's say, okay, thank you, Laura. So I picked Laura. So now I gotta get my stuff together before I meet Laura. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna Google her. I'm gonna look on LinkedIn. I'm gonna look at her website. I'm gonna be a Laura groupie. So when I meet with Laura, I know everything about her. Not creepy. You don't want to drive around her house and creep on her, because I think Emily Kelly would do that because she's kind of a creeper. But anyway, she is. You're creepy, sort of. Not really. You're a good friend.
I'm too busy.
Me too, right? Me too. I have shorts on though, over this. I can't wait to go outside. So Laura and she says, Susan, the only time I can meet you is 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. And you better believe I'm going to be there with bells on at 6 o'clock on Sunday morning, because that's the only time she has free. Okay. So now we have to think about our excitement. When I get excited, I get crazy and I get a little too excited, and people think I'm too happy and too excited, and it's bad. Sometimes that, for me, it equates that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just excited. So now I'm going to sit down with Laura, whether it's Zoom, outside at a coffee shop. Now we can go outside, whatever it is. So Laura knows why I'm meeting with her because I told her that Sandy referred me to her. But if Sandy's good, like most of us are, Sandy's going to call Laura to say, Susan Brophy's going to call you. And I really like her and I think you can help her, or she's looking for you to help her, right? So by the way, FYI, if you promised your contact to meet, I promised Sandy that I'm going to meet with Laura, and Sandy calls Laura and I don't call Laura, I might as well move out of Cleveland because your reputation just got, I don't care how busy you are, your reputation just fell off the planet, right? So I'd rather have a reputation of being chatty than not showing up, okay? So now I meet down with Sandy. When I sit down with Sandy, guess what? The meeting with Sandy, Sandy talks 80 to 85% of the time, okay? So this is very important. When you are meeting with people that you want business or employment from, you are looking to them as a mentor in that meeting. So when I tell job seekers that I work with, I want them to, meet with someone, and I tell them, you better listen to them 85%. You ask them for advice, and the advice they're going to give you, you probably have, 90% of it. But it's that little tiny bit that you say, oh my gosh, that's wonderful, right? And even if it's not wonderful, you still say, oh my gosh, that's wonderful. But you're going to save that time that you had with, with Laura to gather that great information. So in my PowerPoint, which I'll send you, you said, how are you doing, Laura? I see that you did this. I see you were featured in the Plain Dealer. How does this work with your business? Because right now, whether Laura is a competitor of mine, Laura is going to help me drum up business. Right now, Laura is the bomb diggity. Does everybody know what the bomb diggity is? It's the best thing since sliced bread. That's a New York term. The greatest thing in the world for you at that time. So Laura is going to love me because guess what? Laura is talking the most, right? When anybody can talk about themselves, like I love you guys right now because that's all about me, right? I get to talk and be excited. So when I'm talking with Laura, I'm asking her questions, and hopefully it will turn into business for you. Whether it's a referral, whether it's somebody that she saves money on a certain vendor. She's part of groups that everybody thinks they knew all the groups around, you don't. She could be part of groups that you've never heard of that are going to be fabulous for you. Make sense, everyone? Can you give a little wave? So we're going to compliment that person. Thank you. We're going to compliment her and learn all about her. And then she can ask more about me. So another little tip is when I finally get that, when my friend Sandy told me about Laura and said, you are so lucky if you can get a meeting with Laura. And Laura says, I can give you a half an hour at 6 o'clock on Sunday morning. You better watch your clock because at maybe like 5 minutes till you say, Laura, you promised me 30 minutes. We're getting to that point. I guarantee you, and prove me wrong, that because Laura's been talking about herself, she's going to be like, no, I got plenty of time. I got plenty of time. So it's almost annoying because maybe Laura's talking too much, but you're stuck now. So there's no emergency that's going to bring you off that call. So again, we have to make sure that when we're presenting ourselves, that we are confident, but that we have to remember the audience that we're speaking to when we are networking. So Lori, Sandy and I were friends, so we can have that casual talk. I can ask her, Sandy, I need your help. I need to network more. I need to get more business. What advice do you have? And she's going to think, oh my gosh, you should meet this person. The other thing is when you're looking to network and you're looking to gain more business and gain more work and you're networking with colleagues, not the actual business owners, but colleagues, you say, I need your help. When I have executives that have worked 30 years at the same company and they have to leave their job, they have to call people when they're the boss to say, I need your help. And it's like a man asking for directions, right? I can only say that because there's no men on the call today, but it's like me asking for directions. I hate unsolicited advice. It's like that. So we need to make sure that when I ask Sandy for help, she's going to answer my call. If I say, Sandy, let's just have coffee, Sandy's going to be like, Susan, she talks too much. I don't have time to talk with her. But if you say, I need your help, I need your guidance, Tell me someone that when you call them and said, I need your help, I need your advice, they don't answer. It hardly works that way. So even though you're an expert in your field and you are great at what you do and your business is fabulous, you're always looking for new employment, new jobs, new business. So again, we're going to go back to that Laura meeting. So I'm back with Laura and I'll send you what questions to ask and all that stuff. But then Laura, when she's saying, how can I help you? You better have a very practiced answer. You can even go to your LinkedIn profile and see who she's linked with that you want to be linked with. Does everyone know what I'm talking about? So if there's a job listed or there's a business call, and I say there's so many Liz's on this call right now. Let me find someone. Maria. So if Maria and if I find out that Sandy or Laura is connected to Maria and she's somebody that I want to meet, you can show, because I'm meeting with Laura as a mentor and advice, you can say, you know what, Laura, I see that you're connected with these people. Do you mind making an introduction? And it's okay if she says no, it's okay, don't take it personally. She might just not feel comfortable because she doesn't know who you are yet, right? So these are all very important when you're presenting to yourself, okay? So to kind of wrap up a little bit, and we still have more time here, is when we present ourselves, we have to be really in your face to what we're excited about. We have to have a simple but very impactful way to describe ourselves. And that's what? The simple professional phrase, 3 to 4 words. Now, when I picked on Mari, she was a little gloom. So we don't want to be gloom. We want to be more excited. So even though she said divorce, you know, it was just kind of funny because I deal with people being fired, right? It's really hard to get excited and be like, I help companies fire people, ding, you know, like, I'm not George Clooney. Everybody thinks I'm that movie Up in the Air. I don't fly around firing people. I'm in the room after they're fired, right? I could never do that because I could never live with myself. But the people have already made the decision, right? So it's just a very interesting, it's when people say I help with terminations and layoffs, they think I'm like the Grim Reaper. So with Mari, I'm just picking on you a little bit. It's hard to talk about what you do without being enthusiastic, right? Like, I know anybody that's getting a divorce? You know, like but that's really what you want. So maybe you work with a social worker. Maybe you get together with people, you know, social workers and
ambulance
lawyers.
chaser.
Exactly. Well, I don't know about that. But like, for example, I happen to do well with highly scientific people. I used to work at Cornell in the College of Engineering. It made me learn how to talk to people who've never talked to a girl before. We used to have an acronym, never talk to a girl, because these students would be so beside themselves that they were in a room alone with a girl. You know, I could be their mother. Well, back then I was much younger, but do you know what I'm saying? Like I had to learn to talk to someone who doesn't make many gestures. Like I'm all over the place. If I cut my hand, I'm like, ah! You know, the engineers would be like, I have a son like this. You know, my finger hurts because I just cut it. You know, if you punch my twins, if you punch my one twin in the face, he's punching you back and he's all like, Mom, that's terrible. My other one would be like, Mother, I did not, that felt really wrong and I'm hurting. Can you put a Band-Aid on it, please? Literally like that. So we have to get to know our audiences, am I right? So if I bust into a room like a network and I'm like, hey, I'm Susan Brophy, I love what I do, give me somebody to fire. And I'm in a room full of engineers or executives, I'm gonna be not taken seriously. Let's just be honest. Now, I know I look very young for my age, right? But that also works against me. Like, I just turned 51. I want people to know I have 25 years of experience. Solid professional experience. And yes, I've kind of dipped into a little, but really I've always done the same thing for many years, just on different platforms. So that's when I want to strap my credentials to be like, listen, I have I'm starting my PhD. I've got my master's in this. But you can't do that because you just look like a jerk. So now I want to make sure that I went through my PowerPoint. I'm always bad at that. Oh, yes, I want to say something. Talking about my meeting with Laura again as my second connection in my business or employment meeting. It is not a job interview. It is not show me your stats and your prices. It is not that. You are asking the questions to them. This is a weird concept. You're not diagnosing them to get your business. you are asking them questions about them, which of course will lead into, oh, I can help you with that. But people, when they finally get the meeting with Laura, they're all ready for you to start asking me questions. Nope. You have to ask them questions because they're going to talk a lot and like you because you're interested in them. Does that make sense? Little wave, peace sign, whatever. That's important to know, because if you go to these meetings expecting to have your little portfolio together, asking for questions, nothing's going to happen. So as a small business owner, you know, it depends on, you know, if you're in the beauty or you're in the health related field, they're not in the same category. I don't mean to categorize that, but sometimes they are. You really got, you know, like the gig that's getting you the business. But if you think about it from a different aspect, it makes a big difference. Another one is, I'm going to open up, you can unmute, guys. What kind of businesses do you do? Like what are you involved in? You guys can raise your hand or whatever, I could call on you.